Retention and transfer are very important aspects when it comes to learning. They are also necessary to determine how well someone can perform various tasks. Retention of learning is the amount of information a learner can recall after an extended period. To test retention, the period of time can vary between a few minutes to a few years, depending on the skill. Transfer of learning is the ability to apply knowledge or procedures in one context to new contexts. For example, throwing a beanbag at one distance and then attempting to throw the beanbag at a further distance. In this lab, the purpose was to understand the retention and transfer of a beanbag throwing task. I hypothesized that the retention of the skill will be high and the transfer of the skill will be moderate. This lab had 41 different participants. Each participant threw a beanbag towards a target about 4 meters away for 4 blocks of trials, each with having 10 tosses. There was a 1-minute break between each block. During this break, the distance of the center of each beanbag to the center of the target was measured in centimeters. After these 4 trials were completed, a 5-minute break was taken. Then the participant was again asked to throw the beanbag at the same location as before for a total of 10 more tosses to test retention. The distance away from the target was again recorded. Finally, the participant was asked to throw the beanbag again, but from a further distance, about 5 meters. 10 tosses were completed to test transfer of learning. After all the measurements were recorded, the constant error, CE, and variable error, VE, were calculated for each block of trials as well as the retention and transfer test. The results showed that with practice, both the CE and VE decreased through the blocks of trials. For the retention test, there was a similar CE as block 3 and 4, however, the VE was higher than all other blocks. For the transfer test, the CE is between block 1 and 2, and the VE was similar to block 1. In the retention test, the lower CE value indicates the skill was close to the target even after a break in practice. However, the high VE means that the tosses were not clustered tightly. This indicates retention of the skill was maintained. In the transfer test, the higher CE value, closer to blocks 1 and 2, indicates that the tosses were not as close to the target after moving further away. The high VE, similar to block 1, indicates that the tosses were not clustered tightly. This shows that the participants would need to practice the skill at a further distance as there was minimal transfer. Some factors that could have influenced the results were the weight of the beanbags. Each participant used different beanbags, so that could have influenced the results. Also, other distractions were not accounted for. So if a participant was not focused solely on the task, the results could not be accurate. Finally, 5 minutes is a short amount of time for a retention test. In the future, repeating this task with a longer waiting period may be beneficial to get a true understanding of how well the skill can be recalled after time.